Hello, darling, how are you? Do you know you've got a bit of egg on your cheek? I'll just get it for you. There you go, lovely. Oh, hello there. You'll have to excuse me. I've got to go pick the grandkids up in a minute. They just texted me.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I might be retired, but I'm right up with all of that whatchamacallit, one thing and another. Facebook and interweb and whatever. Whatever. The name's Mrs. Barry. Well, it's Elizabeth, actually, but I do prefer to be called Mrs. Well, they don't try and chat you up if they know you're a Mrs., do they? And I do still get a lot of attention in that department, one thing and another. Oh, yes, I've got a Facebook page and more friends than most, and I do like to titter. Yes, anyway, I stopped calling myself Elizabeth the day I arrived in Australia, which was quite a few years ago now, nearly 50 to be exact. Yes, I was what we called a 10-pound pom. And when I got off the boat, the gentleman at customs said to me, "What's your name, darling?" And I said, "Oh, it's Elizabeth." And he said, "Oh, welcome to Australia, Your Majesty." Oh, was embarrassed. So, I started calling myself Beth after that. Well, you've got to make an effort to fit in, haven't you? The year was 1963. I almost remember it well. See, what happened was, my mum always used to say that when her and my dad met, the earth shook, which, you know, when I first heard about it, I thought, oh no. Oh no! Oh, well, you don't want to hear your parents talking about that kind of jiggery-pokery, do you? No. And then Mum said to me, no, darling, no, because she could see me blushing. She said, oh, no, it wasn't because the earth wasn't moving because of that. It was because we was down in an air raid shelter at the time. You see, what happened was, Hitler had dropped a bleeding great bomb on the local gas works. You should have seen it, she said. The whole street was blown up. It was the Blitz, you see, the London Blitz. See, what happened was, Hitler tried to bomb London into submission. But he couldn't, could he? Anyway, by the end of the war, my mum and dad had got married, and not long after, out I popped! They tried to feed and clothe me as best they could, but it wasn't easy, you know, what with food rationing and the housing shortage and whatever. And believe me, by the time Hitler had finished, the houses were very short indeed. So, one day, my dad brings home a leaflet from Australia House. And it's all about the 10-pound pom scheme and all the jobs on offer here. So Dad legs it down to Australia House, and this always used to make me mum laugh. When they said to him, "Have you got a criminal record?" he said, "Oh, I didn't know you still needed one." Oh God, it was funny. It used to make us laugh. Anyway, so I was 16 by the time we got on the boats, and that's where I met my Frank Barry. He was ever so good looking, and he was English, and one thing and another, and we got married later that year. It was 1963, and do you know what the hit song of that year was? It was "She Loves You" by the Beatles. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And do you know? Oh, I did. You know, I don't think my grandkids have ever heard of the Beatles. Have you heard of the Beatles?
Yes.
Yes.
You haven't, darling? Oh, you'll have to go home and Google it. You see, what happened was, 1969 rolled around, and in those days, John Lennon had left the Beatles, but he did have a big solo hit called "Give Peace a Chance," which was all about the Vietnam War. Frank, the silly bugger, was in it. Not the Beatles, the war. He joined the Australian Army, even though I did say to him at the time, "It's not a game, you know, darling, there really is a war on." But he wouldn't have a bar of it, and off he went, and me pregnant with our second. Of course, there was a big to-do at the time about whether we should be in it at all. The war, that is. And John Lennon was saying that we shouldn't. Look, somebody shot him. Not John Lennon, although someone did shoot him later on. No, somebody shot my Frank. In Vietnam. Carried him home in a box. Oh, I do miss him. Hello, I'm Tiffany Barton. Buenos dias, bambinos. Top of the morning all. Bonjour, or as we say in Australia, how the bloody hell are ya? Australia, the lucky country. Have you ever seen so many stunningly good-looking people gathered together in one place before?
No.
You'd seriously doubt it, wouldn't you? Of course, there are a few exceptions to the rule, but by and large, we're a good-looking lot, aren't we? Millions of years ago, Australia was joined to the other great continents of the world. Now, in those days, you couldn't get a cab for love or money, so the Aboriginal people had to walk here, all the way from Africa. Since then, millions of us have joined them. Of course, there have been a few rogue elements along the way, but by and large, we're a good lot. Why lucky? Well, sun shines every day, everyone's got a roof over their head, and no one tries to shoot you here. The Lucky Country, TLC. And that's what I'm going to give all of you right now, darlings, a little bit of TLC. Now, where did I put my nurse's cap? Is it here somewhere? Here we go, I put it on for you. Is it on straight?
Yes.
Does it look good?
Yes.
Does it make my bum look big?
Yes.
Ciao bambinos, come sta? Everybody say bene.
Bene.
My name is Vittoria Calesso, and I worked as a nurse on the migrant ship the Team Galileo from 1953 to 1959. The Team Galileo brought many Italian migrants to Fremantle. Oh, darlings, I tell you, I never had a better job than that. The migrant ship, I was all women and children because the husband was here already from 5-6 years before. First the men come to Australia, then they get a job, then they get the house, then after, the women and the bambinos will follow. It's my job on the ship to mend all the cuts and bruises. But I also mend lots and lots of broken hearts. They all a long way from home. So, the women and children, they all sleep below on the poop deck. Yeah, the poop deck. Is it called the poop deck for a very good reason? But that's not the worst thing. The worst thing is the vomit. Ugh. Vomit everywhere. How much vomit? Is vomit from porthole to breakfast time. Some people, they vomit like they was lawn sprinklers. Some people, they vomit like they was volcanoes. Some people, they look like they was praying. Oh, God! We've certainly got a serious health issue on our hands, and it's up to Victoria to do something about it. Say hello to my little friend. The vomit on the floor was like water. Some people, sorry darling, I'll just get under your feet there, they never eat on the trip, just bleh! And the children, poor bambinos, skin and bones was some, and they see all the vomit lying here. And then, here darling, you hold this for me. Then there was the other stuff, the poop deck stuff. Everybody, they look like they're practicing to be models. But they're not modeling for Versace, they're modeling for Mr. I never make it on time! So, anyway, by the time the ships are reaching the docks in Fremantle, everyone will run out to greet their husbands. Boop! Okay, now, I'm going to be Francesca, and you over there, you're going to be Mario, okay? You just do what I tell you to do. Okay, here we go. Am I getting the shot? Excellent, okay. Mario! And you say, Francesca!
Francesca!
Mario!
Say Francesca!
Let's go!
I don't see you for 5 long years.
You still as beautiful as the day we met.
Oh, my darling, come to me! When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's amore. Mario, I remember. Oh, and why you get so skinny? You've not been eating pasta. Mario, what are you doing? Oh, Mario! Not in front of the children. Mario! Stop it! Mario! Mario! Don't wash your hair. It stinks of stick. You see, it was such a beautiful sight when the sheep were reaching the dogs. Sometimes I just cry and cry. It's okay, bambinos. It's so good to cry sometimes, you know. In Italy, we are very passionate people, and it's so good to get things off your chest. Let's all have a big cry together. Ready? Uno, due, tre. You see, you feel better now? You know why I cry so much? It's not fair to wave at Victoria! It's not fair! Anyway, so, a few years later I meet Gino, and he comes all the way from Rome, and he said to me, Vittoria, you know what I'm gonna do when I get to Fremantle? I'm gonna start up a gelati shop, just like back in Roma, with over 100 different ice creams, and all the children can come to my shop and have a lovely day. You fancy that, Vittoria? Oh, see, Gino, I fancy that. Imagine if Italians had come to Fremantle. Where would we be without Gino's and Cicerello's and the Roma? What, no pizza? No pasta? No gelati? We'd all be eating health food. We're lucky to have them.